raffle ticket. Cheryl, if you will pull one out of there, and let's see who wins the first giveaway. Everybody's hand goes up.
There you go. Somebody got 20 tickets, so you gonna take your line?
Just read the last four letters. We should be sitting together.
I think they're all 715, and this one is 3177. Are you gonna pick your basket?
177.
Now the basket, what about the onions? Is that right?
No, the onions, not the onions.
Why not?
Go back there to the table and grab you a bag, okay? And those are courtesy of Donna and they're all chicken related, okay? They're all chicken related types of things. So, yes. Want to remind you that tonight we're going to be celebrating Patsy Dean, our first TIFT athlete to be admitted to the Forsyth Monroe County Sports Hall of Fame, and we are absolutely thrilled. We have an extra ticket, no charge to you. If you would like to join us tonight, let me know, okay? Upcoming event will be July 23rd. I believe that's a Tuesday. We will be going to Cartersville. We're going to the Car Museum this year. Last year we went to the Western Museum. This year it's the Car Museum, and I love looking at these things. Hope you'll join us. August is going to be Faith Stapleton Burnett. She's written a book entitled The Hanging of Susan Everhart, which is the most famous execution of a woman. And every time there is an execution anywhere in the United States, they always make reference to Susan Everhart. So, was she guilty? That's up for debate. You will love her presentation in August. Thank you to Letty Watford who got her for us. September, you made your reservations to join us at the Utah Convention down at St. Simon's Island. It'll be September the 11th, 12th, 13th, 14th,
12th through the 14th.
12th through the 14th, okay? Come and join us. We have a big time, and we see a lot of our sisters that we don't see during the year because they're down around here in Florida, okay? So try to join us for that. Can you think of anything else that I need to announce or that you have that I need to announce? Have I forgotten? Otherwise, we're going to get on with the show. People come in, they just come in late, okay? Anything else? Ribbon. Okay, I'm going to turn it over to Donna and you. I want you to turn around, Sherry. Y'all need to give her the biggest applause because she does that exhibit. The reason it looks the way it does is because of Sherry. She's up there late at night almost every day moving stuff around so that I won't notice what she has taken off and put in storage. Okay? But she is a godsend to me. I prayed for someone. I prayed for someone that was technologically inclined, as I was not, and someone who would share our vision for our exhibit. And my prayer time one morning, the Lord spoke her name as clear as day. And of course, I've known her. We talked, a bit, but I thought, okay, Lord, you're going to have to make a way for her to do this. And she said yes, and I'm not letting her out of it. Give her a big round of applause.
They need to hold.
Okay. I could do that. So, yeah. Okay. Maybe I can multitask.
Oh, no, wait on Frank. Your jam. Where are your tickets?
Now it's really rock and roll. I felt it then. She's got angry glasses. Whatever works. Donna and Daddy are class of 76. Tyler Moore, work culture. Class of also 76. Tyler Moore, work culture, was also in class of 76. And we grew up as best friends in little old Lodge, Georgia. As a matter of fact, we were playing leapfrog in the Beverly Brown's backyard when we were in the third grade. And Tyler decided it would be a good idea. She was the frog on the ground. She decided it would be a good idea to jump up, just as I was leaping over her. So as a result, I ended up tumbling on the ground and chipping a bottom tooth that's been with me for 62 years. So I carry Tyler with me everywhere I go. How did we end up with two? Okay. Several of our older heroes, like Cheryl Collin Hernandez, Rosalind Griffin Madison, Barbara Thompson, Sharon Lewis, Renee Bacon, Debbie Schumann, all attended TIP. It sounded like a perfect fit for us because we graduated from a really small high school. So TIP it was, and we lived together throughout summer. But this is the part where I always feel like I should explain I did not graduate from TIP. I attended TIP my freshman year in 72-73, and it was a very, very happy time of my life. And sometimes a little tinge of regret being around it, but not so much. We just celebrated 50 years of marriage, so I'll tell you a little bit about that. I took voice lessons from Mr. Collins and was in the choir. I was also in the ministry choir. And I sang in high school and I thought, for sure I want to be a music major. But after a few weeks in Mr. Collins' class, theory class, I realized that I just did not have exactly what it took to be a music major. So after a few phone calls home crying, I changed directions and began pursuing a degree in education. And I just enjoyed the choirs and the voice lessons. I was honored to represent that year my freshman class in the Mississippi pageant. And I was on the May board along with my dear friend Lynn Flood, the year that Sheila was May Queen. Tense memories and traditions live in my heart forever. On May Day in 1973, the year of Versailles sesquicentennial celebration, my sweetheart Al Darley from my home area was my escort on the May board. He also proposed to me that day. And I made the decision at the end of the year to begin plans for a wedding. It's a tough decision, but as I said, we celebrated 50 years of marriage on April 6th and have two wonderful sons, a grandson and a granddaughter. I went on to finish my associate's degree at Bruton Parker near my home, my bachelor's and master's from Georgia Southern University, and my ed specialist from Nova Southeast University. These were wonderful schools, but they were simply a means to a degree. The memories, the traditions, and the sisterhood just weren't there. I barely really got to know any of my classmates, and little Mary's not here, I don't think, but I did a pocketbook, Mary. I was a commuter. She always said that a believer in tipped because they carry their pocketbook, so I carry pocketbook. I enjoyed a 36-and-a-half-year career as a first and second grade teacher, and after retirement, I was a long-term sub for 7 years. I've continued to be involved in my church, teaching Sunday school, Bible school, singing at church, weddings, funerals, and civic events throughout the years. But the best job I've ever had is keeping my 2 precious grandchildren. I am a 19-and-a-half-year stage 3 breast cancer survivor, and I've had enough issues to write a book, but that's a speech for another day. One night 4 years ago, I was laying in bed checking out Facebook, and Sheila popped up on Messenger. She had found me and was inviting me to that wonderful event of former State Court representatives she was hosting in Versailles. And we reconnected and began chatting. And I learned a lot about the traveling tip cutie pies, which was just a few girls back then, but my habits grown. So here I am today, and I thank you, Sheila, and all the other sisters who have welcomed me to the traveling tip cutie pies and made me feel like I belong, even though I only have 1 cornerstone polished. Sheila says, once a sister, always a sister. I was born in a small hospital in Lyons where my mother was a nurse. She met my daddy at the hospital while he was visiting his brother who had had surgery. Mama was his nurse, and so it goes from there. I had 2 younger brothers. One passed away with measles 1 year before the vaccine was available. I grew up on a farm in a little community called New Branch in Tennessee County. I attended school in Lyons and graduated from Robert Toombs Christian Academy. And I come from generations of farming families. We grew tobacco, corn, cotton, peanuts, soybeans, wheat, had cows who loved to get out every Sunday morning and had to be herded back in before church. And we also had hogs and goats and horses. I have very vague memories when I was tiny of my granddaddy Yay plowing fields with a mule. Back then, the crops were all harvested by hand, and everyone in the family on the job. There was very little equipment back then. But as I grew older, and through my growing-up years, farming became much more mechanized. We began to have peanut pickers, cotton pickers, corn combines. Today, it's unbelievable how sophisticated and technically developed farming equipment is, and how expensive it is. Today's tractors and combines are computer operated. They have GPS systems. You don't even have to worry about making straight rows anymore. You can sell the tractor with your significant other in the buddy seat in air-conditioned comfort and listen to Willie Nelson as the tractor glides down the road. And I've done that. With this technology, computerization, irrigation, and the ability to get work done comes with a lot of expense. The weather fluctuations, the cost of seed, fertilizer, fuel, labor is unbelievable. Yet farmers still get basically the same profits from their crops they did many years ago. So, you have to diversify. Remember that word. Throughout the years, Al, my husband, has done custom combine work for other people, other farmers, planted pine trees all over Tennessee County for farmers, and at one point owned and ran 4 semis for Brown Transport of Savannah to supplement. Today, we grow corn, cotton, and peanuts, plant pine trees, and harvest pine straw. We live in Stubbs County, near the Omaha River. Now, for how we got into this chicken business. Our oldest son, who we insisted on going to college because we did not want him to farm with all his headaches. He graduated from Georgia Southern and had a successful financial job as a financial consultant, when one day he said, "Daddy, I want to farm." And after much discussion and deep breaths and eye rolls and gnashing of teeth, shaking our heads, Al and Alexander began their partnership. Well, after a couple of years, Alexander decided he wanted commercial chicken houses. We needed to diversify, he said. It would be good additional income, he said. And he could do his farming too, he said. Well, he wanted broiler houses because they don't require as much labor and time. But getting contracts for broiler houses was very, very difficult. So meanwhile, we waited. And after several years of trying, Claxton Poultry approached us offering a contract for 2 commercial egg houses. Now, these houses require attention 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365 days a year. The hens don't stop laying on the weekends. They don't pause for vacations or holidays. But Alexander said, Daddy, let's do this. We need to do this. So Alex says, okay, so what? You know what we're getting into. Vacations and holidays and family time is going to be so difficult to navigate with all the other farming activities. It's going to involve much more time and labor. So, contracts were signed with Claxton Poultry, and diversify we did. And I've provided a handout so you can kind of understand now as we go through this a little bit. Claxton Poultry furnishes the chickens, the feed, the transportation of eggs, and field representatives who come weekly to inspect the chickens and take blood samples. But the cost and construction, the cost of land and the construction, paying of salaries, digging a deep well, plumbing, wiring for electricity, all falls in the hands of the farmer. So the land and spot were agreed on, and the buildings were built. The buildings are large. The buildings are about 40 feet wide and 500 feet long. Just for perspective, a football field is 360 feet long. So they're big. The deep well was done. The land and the roads were prepared around the houses and between the houses, because the trucks had to be able to travel through. A cooler was built between the houses. Feed towers, computer rooms, vans, generators were built for each house. In the middle, the chickens can roam freely on the pine wood shavings covered floor, which is another expense of the farm. Now, their shavings, beddings are very important because the chickens like to take dust baths, and that keeps them clean and free from bites and other pests. And all this happened rapidly with no training. I think it was about 3 months from start to the time that we got chickens. No training for what was ahead. No workshop, no schooling, no staff development teachers. Just ask questions to those that know and figure it out on your own. So there are 3 types of commercial chicken farms. Broiler farms, that's what we wanted, raise chickens to be used for the food industry. Pullet farms raise female chicks until they are ready to be transferred to the breeding farms. And the roosters are raised in those farms too, but kept in separate houses. Obvious reason. Okay, now, breeder farms, that's us, we're breeder farms. House hens and roosters who mate to produce fertilized eggs, but not the kind we eat. We have breeder farms. Our eggs are sold to broiler hatcheries for incubation. So our houses actually start this process. Well, what came first, the chicken or the egg? It'll never be answered completely, I don't think. According to Claxton Poultry, though, this age-old question is more complicated than you might think. Those cute little fluffy chicks that arrive on the broiler farm have to come from somewhere. And the answer is they come from the hatchery. But where's the hatchery get them? They get them from the breeding farms, that's us. And we could go on and on, back and forth. But we just keep it simple and say they begin with the parents of the broiler chickens. But there's some really interesting theories on the back of that handout there that you have a chance to look at. But there's 2 stages in a breeder's life: the rearing and the breeding. Farmers have, like I said, they have separate barns called pullet barns, and the males and females are there until they're ready to be transferred. A pullet is the technical term for a young female chicken before she starts laying her eggs. During the rearing stage, the males and females are raised separately because they have different growth rates and nutritional requirements. And later on, of course, they're joined with the breeder farm. Our hens arrive when they're about 20 weeks old, and they begin laying at approximately 23 weeks old. They will lay about 1 egg a day before their expected lay period, which is approximately 10 months later. Breeder farms have automated egg gathering systems where the eggs gently roll out from the nest box onto a conveyor belt and into a gathering station. We call it a collection room. And those belts run the entire length on each side of the chicken houses. The eggs are usually collected about 3 times a day, sometimes more, and only high quality ones are sent to the hatchery to be hatched into broiler eggs. The hatchery picks up the hatching eggs from the breeder farms, in our case, once a week. Sometimes in some places it's more than that. Now, on the night that our very first hens arrived, like excited parents, we parked in the back in the dark to watch the semis one by one unload 10,500 hens in each house. It took several hours during the night to accomplish this. And they do it at night because it causes less stress on the hens. And y'all, it was a really beautiful sight when all those clean white chickens got settled in their sparkling new house. So, about 3 days later, after the hens have adjusted to their new home, 2,000 roosters arrive on the scene.
They're with the house.
And 1,000 are deposited in each house. So that's 2,000 happy roosters and 21,000 unhappy hens. Breeder farms usually have 2 to 6 houses total, even though some farms have larger ones. We don't, like I said, we don't produce the eggs you buy in the grocery store. Now, you can't eat them, and we do. Particularly the double yolks. They can't send double yolks to the hatchery. So either we throw those away or we give them away. Can't sell them. And this is the first true step in the production stage. Now, growers like us we're paid according to the number of hatching eggs that are produced. Our fertilized eggs go to Claxton Poultry's hatchery in Glenville to be incubated and hatched into baby broilers. The incubation period lasts for about 21 days, and the chicks peck their way out of the shells, and they're transferred to broiler houses immediately to continue growing. And after they grow for 6 to 7 weeks in the broiler houses, they're transferred to Claxton Poultry, where they are prepared for more than 200 meat products to retail grocers, distributors, restaurants like Chick-fil-A, Zaxby's, and other restaurants and institutions throughout the world. But the whole process started with us. Now, this is where I can tell you a cute little story. I think, where's Carol's heard this? I know. I mentioned that there's no training for this, that you learn as you go. So about 3 weeks after our first chickens and roosters arrived, we were in Savannah for a doctor's appointment. Al got a text from Alexander, and there was a picture of 3 little eggs that had rolled out onto the collection table. And Alexander said, "Daddy, what do I do now?" And Al said, "Son, pick up the eggs and go put them in the cooler. You better find some help." So he picked up, we weren't expecting eggs right then. We learned different. So he picked up his first 3 eggs and put them in the cooler. And needless to say, he had to scurry to find egg picker uppers for what was about to take place. Another story, after about a few months of learning, things have settled down and going smoothly, our number 1 egg picker upper decided she had enough, and she walked out, leaving hundreds of eggs on the belt, and the hens were busy still laying. Alexander frantically came to the house and said, "Mom, we gotta pick up eggs." Ooh, quit. And I said, "I don't know how." And he said, "Well, I'll teach you." So I jumped into my egg picking up clothes and shoes, and off I go. And he gave me a 5-minute rundown on what was about to take place and how I was supposed to be able to make split-second decisions about whether the egg was suitable for crating or discarding. Plus, I had to make sure I had pork in it. Pork has to be down. They have to be down at the hatchery because there's an air cell located in one end of the egg development. And the air cell gradually increases in size. If the eggs are placed point up, the embryo's head will be on the opposite end of the air cell, and that would make it difficult to hatch. Now, each house has nests, feeding troughs, and a watering system on each side of the house that run the whole length of the house. So, we're in the collection room. He's on one collection table, I'm on the other side. And out come the eggs, way too fast. For me to mentally take in and remember what I was supposed to do. And I was reminded of that I Love Lucy episode. Where Lucy and Ethel were working in the chocolate factory. The chocolates were going so fast. They couldn't pack them where they were supposed to, and they were keeping them, putting them in boxes, going everywhere. And that's exactly how I felt. So Alexander's sweet phone noticed my perplexing predicament. And he realized he'd forgotten to show me the switch that would slow down. Thank goodness. And that was a long day. We were up there until really late that night. It turned into several months of Alexander's sweet mother-in-law and me becoming faithful egg brokers. I wasn't the fastest, but I was efficient, I was accurate, and I was a free lady. So fast forward, we now have 4 commercial egg houses. That's 42,000 hens and 4,000 roosters. And we are blessed to have some wonderful ladies who are absolute experts at running this house and you can get those eggs up. As I mentioned, the eggs have to be cradled point down, they have to be clean, no cracks, no blood, no double yolks, not too big, not too small. These ladies are fast and they make the job look easy. And as I said, the eggs, they lay about 1 a day. They're picked up from the collection room 3 times a day. They roll out on the nest pads and travel to the collection room at a speed the workers can handle. They're amazingly fast. Each crate holds 36 eggs, and the crates are loaded on the large rolling carts that are transported to the cooler room. The eggs are counted and they're identified with the date and the house they came from. It's amazing. It's an amazing sight to see when that cooler is filled with carts of loaded eggs. And Claxton Poultry picks up the eggs once a week. The houses are kept clean by the ladies. They sweep the floors each day. They empty the trash, keep the spider webs down. Every now and then Alexander gets a phone call, a frantic phone call about a snake in the egg house. And the girls don't do snakes, and so he has to run to their rescue. Or maybe there's a deceased chicken under the conveyor belt that's causing a problem. Alexander prepares the feed the day before in the large bins, and automatically each morning a switch is flipped and the chickens are fed in the morning. Now nutritional needs are different for hens and roosters. You guessed it, the roosters need more food. Now the hens are designed, their feeders are designed for smaller heads. They're smaller heads so that those pesky roosters can't fit their heads in and eat their food. The rooster feeders are higher up so that the hens can't get to their food also. And the workers walk through the houses each day looking for any potential problems or deceased chickens that have to be incinerated. They keep records of how many eggs are picked up every day in each house, how many were cracked, how many double yolked, too small or ill-shaped. Also, the death rate is recorded each day. And these records are sent to Claxton Poultry where they record production rate and the percentages as well as the hatch rate. And the more eggs we produce, the higher the hatch rate. And the higher the hatch rate means more money for us, so we really strive to do our best. Now, lights are very important to egg production. They come on at a certain time in the houses, and they go off at a certain time. The amount of daylight hours affects a chicken's reproductive cycle. I had no idea until I started doing this. Hens will begin laying when the amount of daylight reaches 14 hours per day during the early spring. Maximum egg laying will occur when the day length reaches 16 hours per day. There are large fans that keep the chickens at a comfortable temperature. There's a control room in each house where sophisticated computers are set to maintain and monitor operation and efficiency. Generators are in place in case the electricity goes off. And we might not have electricity in our house during the storm, but the chickens do. If anything malfunctions in the house, or the water or the temperature, pressure increases or decreases, we're notified immediately by phone. Egg producers have to be very aware of and cautious of disease control. Alexander can no longer duck hunt because of the danger of bringing disease to the flock. We have to make sure workers don't have chickens at home because of the possibility of bringing disease. Visitors also have to be screened before anyone enters the actual house. They have to get their shoe soles in this sanitizing powder. And hazmat suits are supposed to be worn inside of houses. Service representatives come each week to observe and make sure everything's running properly. Veterinarians come often to check the health of the chickens. Medications given to chickens are extremely limited now due to government regulations. The surrounding area around the chicken houses is kept neat and grass mowed. Rodent and fly control is always in place. Maintenance for building and equipment is a constant job. And there's a few times when Alexander's been away, and I've gotten calls to go to the control room because the vent was coming and the water system needed to be turned off or some other issue. The first time my heart got stopped because a desktop computer is confusing enough for me, but walking into that control room is overwhelming. But mamas do what we have to do. And he talked me through each step over the telephone, and I successfully managed to turn the water off and get it back on. Commercial egg houses are a profitable business, but the first few years, a portion of your check goes to repaying those expensive houses. A lot of factors affect the cash flow and the profitability of hatching egg producers. Some producers will do better at one session, while others are not doing as well. And a lot of times it depends. Sometimes you get a really healthy flock of chickens, and sometimes you don't. Alexander is looking to add 2 more houses in the future. Now, my husband and I both came from generations of farmers. An interesting side note, I think, is Al's grandparents and my grandparents, our paternal grandparents, lived across each other from a dirt road in Treatment County, Somerville, that area. And at some point, both families migrated to Tennessee County. It's a small world. Both of our grandparents had chicken pens when we were growing up. How many of y'all had chicken pens growing up? Yeah, okay. We both helped our grandmothers gather eggs, and neither of us liked it very much. Al particularly had an aversion to them, and he would not, when they get out, he didn't want to put them back in, he'd just fling them over the fence because he didn't like those feathers. And he swore he would never have chickens. Never say never. Never say never. Al, he doesn't really mingle that much in the chicken houses. He'll take Abe, our grandson, to see the chickens, and he'll open the door so he won't carefully so he won't scare the chickens, and Abe waves at them. But speaking of scaring the chickens, every now and then, those normally calm chickens go about their lives just as happy as could be smacking. And suddenly, everything starts rushing around. They're just running around and clucking so loudly. And the cause is usually a fight between the roosters over, guess what? Imagine that. The daily egg production peaks about a month to a month and a half after getting new chickens. The maximum number of eggs picked up per house during peak season is somewhere around 9,000 a day. Okay, if you've got 4 houses like we do, that's 36,000 eggs a day during peak period. And that lasts for a few weeks, but it doesn't stay that way the whole 10 months. It starts off slow and gets to peak, and then it eases off again, but y'all, that's a lot of eggs. You know, I don't know how they do it. Our chickens are kept for 40 weeks and then are picked up by semis at night to go to chicken heaven. And I'll often ask about the clean-out process. It isn't pleasant. The shavings and the litter have to be removed. All the slats have to be taken down and cleaned, the nest pads have to be cleaned. Watering system, the conveyor belts, walls, everything has to be cleaned and sanitized. And we're given about 2-3 weeks to get that clean out process done before the new chickens come. And the litter, we collect it and we use it on crops. Does it smell bad? Yes, very bad. But it saves money. I had a neighbor I loved dearly, and her family had a large hog farm, so smelly. And once I asked Miss Ruby, I said, Miss Ruby, how do you stand this smell? She said, honey, it smells like money to me. So there you go. So, before I close, a few really interesting facts about chickens. Our chickens can roam freely throughout the barn as they please. But y'all, they really do like to stay close to each other because they're social like we are. And you know the saying, birds of a feather flock together? That's where it comes from. And hens can communicate with their chicks while they're still in their eggs. I don't know how. Chickens have a good memory for faces. They're highly intelligent and they can distinguish between over 100 faces of people or animals. They recognize their caregivers and they bond with them. And they can distinguish colors, and some research suggests that chickens may be as smart as human toddlers. I don't know. Chickens are actually omnivores, not herbivores. And they try to take really good care of their eggs. And recently, Alexander, the oldest son, built a metal barn that houses sawmill equipment to produce pine wood shavings for our chicken house floors and for other chicken houses also. This was an area that farmers really needed because they have difficulty finding wood shavings for their chicken houses. And our business is rapidly growing and has resulted in contracts from major producers. This is a new adventure for us. Again, we're learning as we go. And diversification continues. And by the way, our youngest son, Andrew, is a pharmacist. He graduated from the University of Georgia and worked in hospital pharmacy at Memorial for a while. And he's now director of professional education at the University of Georgia's College of Pharmacy. No chicken farming for him. He got his mama's love for teaching. It's been a pleasure. Thank you so much for having me. I have enjoyed it. You've all been so welcoming, and I appreciate it so much. Anybody have any questions?
Any questions? How many employees do you have?
Okay. 4. 5 with Alexander. Alexander has 4 employees. There's, if I'm correct about that, 2 in each house, and they move from each house. So, and they work 7 days a week. Anna kind of runs things for us. She does the scheduling of the workers, so that she can give them a day off here and now and then, She works things out for us, and if somebody's sick or whatever, she's able to get somebody else in, so that helps a lot. Anything else?
What's the deal with the double yolks? I mean, I didn't realize that they could not sell an egg that had a double yolk. Because somebody told me that they bought those because they couldn't sell anywhere else.
I think it's been the hatching process, and probably that their cell, and I don't think they can hatch healthy chicks from a double yolk. Kind of like with us, it's hard for us to carry two.
But how do you know it's not?
You can tell by the size.
Can do what?
You can tell by the size. I wish I had brought some. I wish I had brought some so you could see the difference. They're much larger. But cooks love to cook with them and make the best cakes. I mean, we use them all the time. It's just sad to throw them away.
What do you do with the eggs that you can't send on?
Can't send them
Like the double yolks and all
They
that?
pick them up.
Yeah.
They pick some up.
They pick all of them up regardless, you just have to separate them or
We
something?
just, we keep them in a certain place. The ones that
Not,
have
you
to be
really
in.
not supposed to give them away. You're not supposed to give them
We're
away.
not supposed to give them away.
They pick up all the heads.
There you go, that's a good answer.
Yeah, that's a good answer. Yeah, I mean, you know, there's what we keep what we are using, we're not supposed to leave it.
So their period of laying eggs is about 20 weeks, is that what I heard you say?
Yes, yes.
And then that's, and, I mean, is that all they'll lay? I mean, they'll lay any more after that, or that's prime time?
They will, but it starts decreasing until they don't need, they don't. Now, a normal, just like a yard chicken, they can lay for several years.
Right, that's what I was thinking,
Yeah, they
yeah.
can. Yeah.
You know the percentage of fertilization that you guys have?
Off my head, I don't. You know, I
Do
can.
they let y'all know that?
They do, they meet with our son, and tell him how they did, you know,
Do they have that individualized, like each house?
they have each house.
This one is like
I'll tell you
91%.
something, I did have,
Even the growers, they compare them,
Yeah, they
like the
do.
percentages and who are the top growers.
Really?
So, you know, we
They
try
keep
to
up
do
with
the top,
very close.
we try to do hard. We get paid more than that. But they know how we come out of each house, what each house do.
The amount of feed that each house uses, they keep up with that, and like they pay you better, if you use less feed and how better, actual outcome, everything's kept up with.
I mentioned the light. Light bulbs go out sometimes, and you have best get those things replaced soon, or we're gonna get chastised about it, because the light is so important. I was gonna tell you, during the 3 months or so I was working in the chicken house, when I first started, you know, we loaded on those carts. The carts are full, and we push it into the cooler. And I went in and I looked at it and I thought, well, this cart's not full. And this is not full. And this is not full. I'm just gonna arrange them here so each cart will be full. So when Alexander went in that night and he looked, he said, oh, what in the world have you done? Because you know what I'd done? I had mixed up houses.
Oh.
I had mixed up houses, so it messed up the record keeping. And I wasn't allowed to do that anymore.
You got fired from that job, right? Gladly.
You got our hand in.
All right, when you clean the houses, do you sell the chicken poop to the Vidalia farm?
We keep it, and we do sell it.
We use it on our farm.
We use ours
The-
first.
Yeah.
We use it on ours first, and then if we have left, we sell it.
But some sell it,
Uh-huh.
some
You
houses
can,
do sell
you
it.
can sell it, but we use it on our farm and sometimes buy some from other chicken growers.
Are you in peak season now with the number of hours of daylight?
Not quite, because we just got a new flock. How long ago?
Let's see, in a couple of months.
I thought we got a month, but we're approaching peak season. It's an amazing process to watch, it really is.
What about, and I heard you mention Claxton, is that who you grow for?
Yes, that's where our
I
contracts.
need to know what kind of dog you grow for.
Yeah, that's where our contracts are with.
Everybody look on the back of your handout.
Oh, yeah.
Gives us some interesting facts on the back of there, some jokes and some interesting facts.
Just some little cutesy things. I like the, about midway, on which came first, the chicken and the egg. There was this fellow named Robert Coolidge, apparently accidentally stumbled on the video. And so, it's like, many years ago, there was a chicken-like bird that was close, genetically close to a chicken, but wasn't a full-blown chicken. They call them a proto chicken. So proto chicken lays an egg, and proto rooster fertilized it. But when the genes fused, they almost chicken fused, they combined in a new way, creating a mutation that accidentally made the baby different from its parents. So although it would take a millennia for the difference to be noticed, that egg was different enough to become the official progenitor of a new species now known as the chicken. Who knows? Who knows? Thank you all. That's very much.
Thank you. Look at your tickets, we're drawing again, look at your raffle tickets. Everybody grab your tickets, Carol's gonna draw two.
715-3259.
3, 2,
I got it. Sherry. That's right, that's right. I didn't trust her. Okay, you ready? Okay. 715-3200.
3, 2,
0,
0,
0.
0.
3200.
Is that it? I get part of it, cause I found it.
Okay, you can pick your prize.
Do another one while you're on it, go draw another.
Okay?
Wait a minute, let me see if I can tell you which one I want.
Okay, ready? 715-3267.
3, 2,
67.
Sherry again.
She's got about 20 tickets here.
Some of you bought a large number of tickets. You could possibly win a large number of prizes. Will you do another one?
Sure.
All right. We'll dig way down in here. Okay. 715-3160. Hey! That can just pick what you want. Get home. And get one of the big. This is that one.
Me, that's yeah.
Just everything what I got. Is that okay? Okay. She didn't know if we were gonna raffle off those big ones or just give them another. We're just gonna do that. Oh, she's somebody's already got one.
Want to draw again?
Okay, well, Sheila can tell them what they can have. Okay. All right. 715-3139.
3139.
3139.
3139.
Going what?
You sure you read that
Those were the last. I read it right.
3139.
715-3139.
I have 3189.
Well, this one is 39.
Somebody
You got it again?
Oh, I got it.
Well, go back there and Sheila will tell you what you can get for it. Oh, I can put it back in there, I didn't mean to. Okay, another one?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay.
Give New York Carol.
715-3240. I was close to 3139 a while ago. All right, go back and get your goodie.
Carol, you can't find your tickets.
Got any more? Sheila, another one?
Sure, as long as I
Okay, all right.
Okay, well, you pick an option one that you want to.
Okay, 715-3158. All right, Mr. Jim.
Who got it?
I want
Hey,
them to
Jim,
get my
you
prize.
want to
Hmm?
I want them to get my prize.
Oh, you want them to get your prize? Okay, they made them. They made the prize.
Oh, they made them?
They made them. They're the ones that donated them. Sheila, bring Mr. Jim a prize. Kim.
Okay, bring him
I
across.
wish I could give you something.
You do tours. We have to dress up in hazmat suits to do tours. That's quite a bit different than just growing it for food.
Thanks.
Quite a bit different than just growing it for food. You got to deal with the chicken and the river. Okay. All right, Sheila,
Okay.
another one, or what?
Let me see, let me see.
Want to raffle off the,
You want to raffle off one, these?
auction them off?
Yeah, these were like, you would like to, we're gonna auction off these
Okay.
three right here, okay? These are 3 baskets, Donna Ann filled them with all kinds of stuff here, okay? I'm gonna let you look at it. Okay? This is not part of the raffle, this is part of the.
It's an auction.
This is not part of the raffle, this is part of the auction.
So old American.
White Star got a lot of stuff in these, okay?
Got $5? Anybody give me $5? $5?
I'll take 10, 10,
10?
10, I got 10.
More than 10?
10, got 2 more to auction, so if you don't get this one,
10, we got 10, going, 10, 10.
that's it. Congratulations.
Is there another one? Go away.
Let's wait.
Okay. Carol Bunn, elected mayor.
Okay, Stubbs is up to tell us about owls.
Got my farmer's hat ready.
I like that. Everybody said,
Who moved at me? I am not real sure about this mic, so please help me. Just, if you can't hear me, keep it close. Speak loud. If you can't hear me,
keep that microphone up, get up that microphone.
dance around, do something so I'll know I need to get closer and speak more distinctly. Thank you for coming. I see a couple of your friends here to train you about chickens and cows. I am Carol Stubbs, Bunn, graduated in 1970, got married in 1970, went to work in 1970. I'm still graduated, I'm still married, but praise you, Lord, that you let me retire from you facts. I want to just give you a little bit of background before we have something to kind of show you. Donna touched on this about how many of us probably had some type of experience with farming as a child, growing up. May not have been if your parents actually ran an active income-producing farm, could be aunts, uncles, grandparents. How many of you had some type of experience? Raise your hand. Is there anyone here who is living or has lived on any kind of active farm besides our speaker? Anyone? Well, I think that kind of experience was kind of normal back in the 50s and the 60s because families used chickens, used hogs, cows, they raised gardens, and that's how you put food on the table. And we're missing a lot of that. And it's that old family farm. I know growing up myself, my aunt had chickens and she sold the pigs in her little pen out in the back of the building. We had to go over and help her, but every once a year she sold them. We had to go over and put them on the piece of wood that was there, take the axe, chop the head off, dip them in the hot water with their stinky feathers, pull those feathers off, and then the next person would gut them. You got the idea that you didn't have to do that. Thank goodness they had that. I remember my uncle would bring his women up to our house on Main Road to cultivate our gardens. And then later years, Dad brought one of these little critters called little tillers, and we do the gardens. I've dropped many sweet potato slips to be who we are today. I wanted to tell you a little bit about Bunn Farm. We're a small farm. We're not in the realm of big. There's some big ones. And we're just a little small family farm. We have about 200 acres that we use for pasture and or hay fields. We have about 80 cows. That number fluctuates. This year, we are going to have 52 that we sell. These are calves that we sell to a feedlot. That will be our income for this year. We get paid once a year when we sell our cows. We have what is called a cow-calf operation. The cows, bless their heart, they're constantly in a pregnancy. A pregnancy for cows, 9 months. And we put the bull in the pasture so that he can do his job, and 9 months later, in the cool months of October and November, they'll be born. And then come about this time next year, next we're fixing to get ready, we'll wean them. So she'll have about 3 months rest, because she's already been impregnated, and she'll start all over again. My husband's father, Woodrow Bunn, W.W. Bunn, inherited his land from his father. There was a large plot of land on 41 Highway South and what is now called Bunn Road, and it was divided between the brothers. And Woodrow took on what his grandfather did, which was dairy cows. Then he went off to World War II, and when he came back, he continued the dairies for a while. But dairying is hard work. It's like the chickens. They don't stop milking just because it's Sunday or a holiday. So he decided he would get into just cows and not the dairy, but into meat. He did that, I guess, we think somewhere around the 50s. My son made this, had this sign made for us, and gave it to us as a Christmas gift. He said, you can put it down at the road. And I said, no, I'll be in my house. And I had it in our room. And he has one here about 1948. So I'm not going to, I don't know the exact date, but sometime he converted over. And so my husband comes along as a man, and he's exposed to all of this. So that's how we came to be in the farm business. So now I have some videos that we have sound at one time.
I don't think we do today.
But I want you to look at these, and then later I'm going to add a couple of comments here and there. These are going to be different pictures that we took on that farm. So let's hear the rest. We cheated in this cross the and they flocked to us.
And Mr. Bunn filmed this.
Yes. Look at my red face.
Okay, we'll go back.
Hold on.
What, I was gonna take it back to the beginning.
Okay.
Okay, there you go.
Those are a couple of our little calves. They ran right outside the highway. You'll notice they're not black. My husband likes the white face furs. And so we'll have some mixed in our black herds. And it's really funny because a couple of years ago we had a buyer come look at our calves. He didn't name them black eye. He didn't say the meat's not as good. All I'm here to do is stand. It's nothing to do nose in trouble. That's one of my favorite. She's a Charlotte, again, she's not black, but Mr. Bunn likes to throw that into her.
Explain.
Okay, rails, okay. She's their column for him, because she knows he has to lead, and he has told her. I believe this may be the one, we had, one that was older, and she had to be reported, you know, she was losing weight, and I thought she was running, and she had a young cat, and so he would open the little gate, let her put in her yard, and he would feed her separately, because if you put it out in the pasture, those other cows were poor her, and she wouldn't get any of it, so we were trying to give her some special attention, but she didn't forget it, and her calf didn't forget it. Calf grew up and he didn't forget it. So she comes to the caveat, do you see those metal? That's what we call a caveat. It's metal. The one that in the driveway is concrete. I wish I could be changed. Cows are not like goats. They like firm, secure. Goat probably call all of them. But a cow usually will not. We have had one or two teenagers who think they're just special, and they try to jump and walk around it, but normally, this will keep them out of my yard, and but keep them getting into the water. That's a mom and baby. See how little it is? Resting on the trees. Look real closely if you can, and I think this lady has twins. If you can see the one on this side. That's a rarity, not very common, but every once in a while we'll have twins. There I am pulled into my driveway, there's the concrete, and they love to stand in the road. Do their business in the road.
And he's not moving.
And he's not moving. They're curious animals, and they like to see what's going on, and I think sometimes they're looking at the wheels spinning. I'm not sure what it is, but I just gently kept going and talked to them, and every now and then that's when we have a lot of rain, with all that grass. It's all crunchy now. Okay, still having food down there, yes. Okay.
We understand if it takes you 2 hours to get to the house.
This is big house, that's dear. We go to the next one. Hay, okay, farm, and house, we don't have hay. We cut them out hopefully 3 times a year. And I can't believe in the last 2 to 3 years, we have been cutting and putting hay out in late September and October, which years ago, that was just unheard of. But the weather is hotter, longer, and if you got heat and rain, you gotta hay. You gotta cut it, put it up, because you don't know what the winter's gonna bring. Plus, right now, it's dry as it's being, there's no rain and sun. We're being hay right now. This is gonna be grass. Oh my. This is my neighbor, and called one day, lives across the road from his house, and said, "Carol, you got a house out." And I thought they'd be 2 or 3 or 4. I got, this is me in the green truck over there on the far right. I looked down the road and it was a sea. So I had to drive through that herd, blow on the horn. I didn't care if they kicked that out of the road, it's too fast. 1999, still going. And got behind them and walked them back up toward the gate, and the neighbors stood there so they wouldn't go beyond their fence, right up to the little guy. But still, they had gotten out, is that what they, my husband thought that they would be laying down yesterday, it's in the middle of the night, and they wouldn't dare to go water, whatever, surprise. So he learned his lesson not to come out and not shut the gate. This is their watering hole. This is my front yard. We call it our pond, it's on the road.
And you got the wire.
Yes, they don't go but just so far because there's no, this is invisible, there's electric, it's pieces of like, and they just kind of let it go. Because if not, they could walk past that and they'd be out the road.
And I pull out of my subdivision, and this is what I see every time I pull out of my subdivision. And I couldn't figure out why the cows weren't coming out into the road. You know, I thought, she's got some really trained cows here, they've got business going. And then she explained to me about the wire, but I thought, well, it's water and a wire. Won't that shock them? Won't it kill them? And she had told me how much the beef and all was, so I thought, why would you want to do that? But it works.
Oh,
That was the video.
there's some more of the hay that we store and the tractors that we use. We do mostly round beds, we don't use square beds. That's the picture of it, that's a picture of looking at the map, cardboard.
That's it. I missed the one that had you on the tractor.
Oh, that's good. Well, my father-in-law worked past up until he passed away in 1904. And as God would have things work out, my husband had been in the good country for almost 25 years. And it finally went under back in retirement. And in February of 1994, he was no longer employed. So he was with his dad every day until July when he passed away during the great flood. And that's when he took over. And he was unsure whether he could do it. I told him, sure you can. You know, it was hard. But anyway, I just want to carry you through some basics so you understand. Let's start with the babies, or cows. My father-in-law had primary herbs. And one of the things that was difficult about the herbs is their calves can be rather large. I'm going to tell you a story of our experience firsthand. Right after we married, his dad called and said, "Son, I need your help. I have a full calf." So I go down there, and they had a ring on their nose, and she was tied to the gate inside of a barn. And they were pulling, and they were using the kids, so put them in arms. By the way, I didn't even watch John Poole and these other big programs on TV. Well, you see some of the stuff he shows on there, and that's true. Anyway, they tried and couldn't get that calf. Cow got so tired, she just went down. I'm telling you, it was about 3 hours later. And my husband put his pickup truck in there, backed up into the barn, open, put a chain on the back of the pickup truck, put a chain on the back, and had it tied to the calf inside. And had to pull that calf out of the pickup truck. It was awful. I didn't want to see that again. But the one thing my husband took from that is about this time, Black Angus Association was making a real big push and a real big taking over of being the breed of cows. And the biggest thing about Black Angus is that they have smaller calves, and the calves grow rapidly. Once they hit the ground and they get that milk, they start growing. So, like he switched over to, he started getting bulls, Black Angus bulls, and that's why we primarily now Black Angus. Sometimes you'll have problems with birthing. We've had miscarriages. We've had prolapse. You know what prolapse is? With this prolapse is when either before the calf is born or after the calf is born, the cow's uterus literally comes out of that. I've seen it this big, I've seen it this big. Before the calf, we call the vet, try to get it back in, they'll stitch her up. You have to watch her carefully, know when she's going in labor, so you can get her back in the barn and take the stitches out so she can have a calf. It's not always a success, it's a gamble. shoot the dice. Afterwards, you want to get her in the barn, sum her up, as soon as she finishes raising a good calf, she goes to the market, she gone. You don't wanna keep a calf that's not gonna be productive. Excuse me. Newborns are vulnerable, we have to be careful, we have to check them often. And on our place, it's coyotes. We've had little calves who have gotten mom settled in there after she's birthed them and cleaned them up, she'll put them in the little safe place she thinks, and she'll go off and feed, graze, maybe not too far. But one time she put two in the fence, and the little calf got rolled under the fence on no side, she couldn't get to the coyotes feet. Talking about the mom and the born, mom takes them up, and we have to watch them to make sure they get that first meal, the colostrum. I said, that's the first meal that I'll never forget. My first child was born by C-section, and my father-in-law was so upset because he wasn't going to get the first meal from mom. Sorry. I had to have a that's important though, because it's got the antibodies and it's got all the other good stuff that the calf needs to grow well. As you saw a little further in, sometimes mom injects, and that's when we have to take care of them. When they're 2 to 3 months old, we corral them up and we give them a shot of blackleg. Blackleg is a very deadly disease for cows. It's primarily been controlled through the shots. We give the calves shots when they're young. It's in the soil, and if they ever get it, it's dead. There's no cure. They will die. We tag them. We tag the females with a yellow tag, we tag the males with a blue tag. This is so they can track wherever they go, who the mom was. We castrate two methods you can use. You can use a band. Just try some band, something around, really tight, and leave it to several days, and let it hit it to one side. We just use the knife. You know. When they get to be 7 or 8 months old, we wean them. And this is never a happy time. But we try to, in fact, they're going to do this weekend. Try to move the calves into a different pasture, but close enough so they can still smell mom or see mom, and then calm down. And then we move mom away from them. They stay in the lot 5 to 7 days, and we warm them. They're fed a ration that helps them to grow and gain weight, and it's soybean mix, soybean meal pellets, ground corn, and it gives them salt and mineral mix to help with their digestion. As a young cat, their aim is to gain weight, and he's got 4 stomachs, as you probably know. We keep a cow for 8 to 10 years, depending on how many babies they have. Keep up with whether or not she's a good mom, she got good milk, she got good disposition, she got good feet. Feet's important because they're outside all the time in every kind of weather. They can step on a root, they can step on a stone, they can get foot rot. So we have to give them that. And then hay, I mentioned we do 3 cuttings. There are 5 steps in cutting hay. We got your big tractor that's gonna cut it, we're gonna let it lay. In hot weather, maybe the next day or the day after, we wanna tether it or fluff it. And we wanna stir it up so the air gets under it and it dries. Then you're gonna come along and you make a windrow for the baler to come along and bale it up. Then you gotta get it out of the pasture into the barn. Now I've helped with the tethering, and I've helped with the windrows, and I've helped getting it in the barn. I ain't having to do the cut or that they, like you mentioned, the tractor, it's got too many gizmos and gadgets on it. I don't want to do anything with that. Drum tractor, I was driving, old Ford tractor one year in where the subdivision is now, and I was fluffing those too. And I like the Ford tractor because it's a little ground, I'm not sitting there behind. And because of the hot weather, my husband had gotten a canopy and welded it to the fenders of the tractor, so I had a covering to protect. Well, I'm gonna be bumping along, and when you're tethering, you don't have to worry about speed. In fact, the faster you go, the quicker you get through. And I must be bumping along, and all of a sudden, bang! Almost knocked me off the track. One of the poles broke. It was such a hard job. I had hit an armadillo hole. It was hidden because of the hay. Not fun, my back hurt for a long time. I wanted to tell you a little bit about the bull situation. That's kind of interesting to me. The bulls, we do not grow up on bulls. We purchased them. Back when my father-in-law did it, you picked out the best bull calf and you saved him. And I want to make sure you all understand that when the little female is born, she's called a heifer until she has her first calf. When she's birthed her first calf, she's a cow. Okay. The little fella is born and we call him a steer. No, I'm sorry, he's a bull calf. He's born with a bull calf with the equipment. When he's castrated, he's a steer. That stunts his growth. He doesn't develop all of them. I've got some books over here that I'd really like for you to look through later. There's some sale magazines that we get when people have bull sales. They are now specialty. The average farmer that raises cows does not raise their own bull. It is a scientific, keeping records 3 generations that can tell you what the milk's going to be like, what the characteristic, if he's going to be docile, which you want a docile one. You don't want a bull or a cow that's going to be out here crazy and running on. And we have who went to the market. You don't keep them. Sharing women's stories. I have a story. And please remember, we're talking about nature. Okay? So I'm not doing this to be ugly or anything. I just want to give you an actual look. When you put the bull in the pasture, you want to make sure he's performing. Mr. Bunn, this is his job. He rides around all the time. Checking the bull, making sure he's doing his job. And we had a big nice bull. Well, he come in one day and he said, something's wrong with my bull. I said, what do you mean? He said, well, he had been serving the cows, and that's the term that's used, serving the cows. Meaning he had been mad to her. And I said, well, what do you think's wrong? He said, I don't know, I'm gonna get him up and take a closer look. He got him up. You will never guess why he was not serving red Ross peanuts. True story. I've never heard of it since, in 50-something years. I've never heard of it. He went to the market. He went to the cow stand. Yes. When you buy bulls, my husband studies. He goes to Tifton, he goes to Athens, and he goes to Calhoun. The registered bull sales. And register, when you buy that bull, you get a registration that you keep on file to show it's a registered bull. And he studies, there are usually 3 different categories, either a small one that you might want to use, or the little heifers that you kept, you want to become cows and they're young and they're small, you use small bull for them. Then there's your middle size bull, then there's your champion. Well, the little one is going to run, where did I get that? Oh, back here. I think the little one's going to run up, I think it's from 3 to 5,000. Your middle size is going to run 5 to 8,000. And your champion bull is going to be $10,000. My husband usually tries to get the middle ground, and we have paid $8,000 for a bull. And you don't keep them forever, because you want to be careful of them breeding. So we have to rotate, and if we have one and he's done his job, he's finished, we'll sell him, make another farm. But the bull is an intricate part of the farm. When we sell our calves, which we're coming up probably about October, they're gonna weigh 700 to 800 pounds. He has used our FDTV where men come out and take videos of them, go back and RFDTV has an auction and then put all these videos on, goes out all over the country and people are calling and bid on your lot. Lately he's been using some sale barns. Last year he used the one in Athens, and probably will use, you always look for your best price. And right now, a cow, a regular on feed, is what we call them, just, just the cow itself. We get about $3 a pound. What's the brand we can grocery store? What's the state of the grocery store? I bet it's more than $3. It demands on, if the price is demand. You have to be careful, and we're losing a lot of farms, we're losing a lot of cattle, and I have some statistics later when it's handed out. There's a little handbook, and there shows some other information about the cattle industry in Georgia. And if you didn't know, poultry is #1 as far as income. It is the highest paid crop, agricultural crop in Georgia. Cotton is #2. And beef cows is #6. But if you combine the beef cows and the dairy cows that have to go to market when their time is ready, is up. Dairy and beef are #3. And about $1 million.
Hold on, Carol, I'll get your stuff, and let me hand out some of this stuff,
okay.
okay, real quick?
The blue map and the blue book.
Yeah.
Everything.
Are she gonna help me?
And I thought it was interesting that Monroe County right now has about 6,000 head of beef cows. You know what county has the most? Could anybody venture a guess is the county that is reporting the most head right now? Morgan County, Madison, Georgia. They have 25,000 head is reported right now. And I know from experience, we have gone to Madison and bought bulls, so I'm sure that's one of them that's being included in it. When you go to the grocery store, Mr. Bunn was telling me that there are 3 cuts of beef: prime, choice, select. He says stay away from prime. That's your lowest quality. Your highest quality is select. And that should be on your label. The thing that is not on the labels is to tell you where the beef comes from. And one of the problems we have in the beef industry is the imports that we are competing with from Mexico, Argentina, Brazil, and Peru. Now we do export to China and the Far East. And if you ever watch the RFD-TV channel on they have the market report every day, it's really quite interesting to see where our meat's coming from. I was thinking about, Mr. Bass asked me, he said, Carol, I'm anxious to see how your degree from TIP helped you on the cow farm. My degree is in psychology, sociology. It helped me not to kill somebody. It's just very frustrating, it's very hard. My husband's 78, and he does primarily everything by himself. We have 2 sons, we've been on my first son is his own chief year. The second son has his own business, he takes it out of town. And so we're constantly having to try to, like lean these things, we have to get their schedule and get them to help us, because he can't do it by himself. My father-in-law had help, he had an overall change, but never for years. That's not the case anymore. You have to pay, and it's expensive. I don't pay my boys. It's hard work, but I think some of the benefits of it is, I have my own, I know where it comes from. The boys have the experience to grow up on hunting and fishing, taking care of cows, the outdoor lifestyle, a strong work ethic, because if you don't work, you don't get it. And a sense of pride, I think, in carrying on the legacy, not only their father, but their grandfather. So, there are a lot of good things, there are a lot of hard things. I wouldn't change anything. God's got a plan for whatever we do. You know, I used to tell him, when I went to Ted, I was going to be a preacher's wife, and he was going to ride up on a white stallion. I got a farmer pickup truck. I love him. We've been together 54 years, and a girl had something in her room that just, I thought I had some kind of bloom in her room. God's got a reason. I don't know what it's going to be. But my cows and I would love it if you want to come out, put you in a little park, ride around, let you see. We did share and hug and everything. I think they got an education. Support your local farmers and your local agriculture. Because agriculture scares me as to how much we're losing to farm things. And that's just my personal statement. Any questions, real quick?
Do the cows go and eat just like
Yes,
dogs?
they do.
I mean,
They
so
do.
every 9 months they go and
Yes.
eat just like a dog?
Yes, they do. And that's so funny because, you know, again, we're talking nature. And the bull can tell from the scent, like some like our dogs.
So they can smell just like
Yes,
a
they
dog?
do. And he will court a cow. Yeah, he will. He'll go up to her and smell it, and if he thinks that means she's ready, he goes in. I get such a good with something, he throws that nose in there. He'll sit by her, he'll lick her, he'll eat with her, just anything to kind of, get her on his side. And if she's not ready, you just want her on that. But if she's ready, then you can help her.
So he hangs around with her
Yes.
until, okay, and then he goes on to the next one?
He'll go somewhere else. Yeah. One of the things my husband said that he looks at when he's trying to buy a bull, or he looks at the feet. And that's actually wrong. Feet, good, and look at his feet. Well, you gotta have somebody that's gonna have a good mount. One of the handouts was the cuts of meat. This over here was not particularly made for demonstration or explanation. It was a decorative piece given to me, the one cow, but it does show where some parts of the meat that come from, if you want to come up and look at it. I do have some other information I'd love for you to look through. The local county, Cattlemen's Association has a little printout they call the bull sheet. I have some from Georgia Cattlemen, and I have some of the bull magazines to look at. Yes, ma'am.
The calf that got pulled out by the truck, did the calf survive? No. And the mama didn't survive either?
He was way too big for the mom. And he had so long in the process of he couldn't make it. And mom did not make it because we think what happens, the calf was so big, because she had already played. You don't want to have them first. You want them up. If they don't get up, there's trouble. And we took water and hay to her and left it with her overnight. She was dead the next morning. Very sad. And thank you for your help.
Do you, if you have a calf that's a bull, do you keep it sometimes?
We do not. 50 years ago, Woodrow may have kept a little bull calf to grow up and use to embry his, but we don't do that. All of our little bulls are castrated. we don't keep any.
Why not?
Because it's a lot of work to follow his characteristics and know whether or not he's gonna do a good job. Whereas these specialty farms for raising bulls have already done that, on the information's in the book. And so you buy something that you trust more than you trust one of your own. It's proven statistically to be much better.
Carol, how many bulls do y'all keep?
We have 2 pastures. So we have 2 bulls, 1 in each. And then, like I said, he'll keep, if, this is an if, he's going to keep any of the little females as replacements. He'll buy a small bull to put in with them, and then we'd have 3. But normally we just have 2, 1 in each pasture. And when they finish and have, everybody's bred, we take them out of the pasture and put them in a pasture by themselves. And people say, well, don't they fight? Bunn says, they got nothing to fight over. You put them in a pasture by themselves and wait for everybody else. And we got a pasture down there next to the interstate, close to the swamp. They're not close to anything.
So all of the females go in heat about the same time?
No,
I mean,
because they're impregnated at different times, so, one may have a calf in October, one may have it in November, so it'd be 9 months from October, 9 months from November, so it's staggered, but most of these come within a 3-month period. October, November, December. Every once in a while, like last 2 weeks ago, we checked, we got a baby. We're supposed to have a baby this time. We have a neighbor who has a clothing bull that gets out. He must have found one while he was supposed to be a brand new cat, and that's what she had.
So do the bulls ever jump, is there like a stray cow who didn't go in heat, like later, or she was later, and then maybe the bull might have jumped over and, no?
I noticed that you name yours, and once I give something a name, it's mine forever. Is that?
No, I know one time we named the little one, the tag number, we called it number 10.
Yeah.
That's just to identify who they are. A little further in, we did that because of the girls, but they have been around the farm and animals enough to know there's some pigs gonna have to go back into the pasture place. And even though they love it and took care of it, that's something that they have to do, so they can go back into the, when you get strong enough, go back into the room. That we don't usually, we had one white one we call Betty C, things like that, but not in numbers. I'm proud of my husband for carrying on. His father had a reputation in Montgomery County being the cattleman. If you had any questions or problems, he would go to cow sales back in the 70s. There were 3. I couldn't remember the third one, but I know there was one at Thomaston, and still one in Jackson, and there was another one. He would go to all 3 sales, and he would have clients that he would buy, and then transport those to his customers. So he was known as, got a problem, got a question, always go. And I'm proud of my husband for carrying on, and not feeling like, I can't do this.
And Mr. Woodrow would have the biggest bull you'd ever see laying out in the pasture right by his house all the time. Every time you drive by, then you see that huge bull laying out. So he always kept a big old bull.
So my husband was in Hawaii, their first he had, the white face perfect, that he showed the boy, this is the bull, this is his boy.
Are you familiar with the ones that are called limousines?
There is, I think those are more out west. I think those and the big longhorns are more adapted to some of the hotter, drier conditions like that in Texas and so forth. But there is a breed combination.
Right, we had some living next door to us when my son was little. They were the biggest cows I've ever seen. And I'll never forget one day I couldn't find Oh, I never seen such
or
one.
at least,
Yeah.
maybe more, at least,
Huge.
2,000 pounds.
Yeah.
I have a picture in a calendar. It's like a picture of my oldest boy, when he was about 13, 14. The boy was laying in the patch, he went out there, lay down on it, and he was fine. I can't find it to prove it.
But tell them who's carrying it on now.
Who's carrying
Courtney.
My youngest son, Philip, his wife is named Courtney. She's a wrestling girl, but she is country. She has horses, she has chickens, and she wants to be the first woman in talent in the world. And my husband has got 14 head that he has picked out, that at the right moment, at the right time, he's going to put in her name as her herd. She'll get out there, she'll work those cows with those men, doesn't bother her. She's really, she's super.
She willing to go to the Waffle House every morning and have
And
breakfast?
meet with them, yeah.
She's not a woman.
Most of them do.
And y'all, when they're married, she's a size 0. So she's probably a size 2 now. Little bitty thing working over big horses.
Do
Yes.
you and your husband ever get to travel or go places, or do you just stay on the farm?
We have to plan it in the summer around hay season. And when we're gone, we have to make sure the boys are checking the cows. Making sure nobody's hurt, injured, got out, not on Bunn Road. Sheriff's Department will call you. And, so we did last summer, we went for almost a week down to South Florida to visit my first college roommate. But we have to make sure that, the timing is right. It's not quite like chickens.
Carol, you must mention all the fishing trips that Jerome goes on.
He is a fisherman. His good friend Bill Starr, you all know Mr. Starr around town. They go to Key Beach from about October to April, about every 3 weeks to fish. So guess who has to make sure things keep going while it's done? So that's why I take off to Simon's in September. We work it out. We work it out. But if you have any other questions, love to talk to you later. Y'all are great. Thank you. I appreciate it.
Well, I don't want to spend a more interesting afternoon. I know it. We're still raffling, so hold on, grab your tickets. We're still raffling. Still
715.
Yeah, really. That's down pat now.
Always. 715. What are they getting there?
They're looking at their tickets.
715. 3212.
3-2, Karen. Good. Go back there to the table. Sherry will show you what you can have. Roll back there. Okay, draw again.
Okay. 715. 3187.
3187. 3.
That's me.
Woohoo! Go grab.
Okay, is there more?
Yep.
Okay. 715. 3260.
3260.
Hey,
You know what?
I bought tickets now.
Okay. Got another one?
Yeah.
715. 3199.
3199.
3199.
3199. Well, look at the, no wonder she had to go through the whole thing. I know. Go on back there and get something out of that table. Go ahead. Go ahead.
More?
yeah, we got 1, 2,
Hey, Carol, go get yours so we'll know what
3,
it's for.
4, and we got
I didn't need that.
Okay?
Okay, grab your tickets.
715-35, I'm sorry,
3-1.
look it back. 715-3250.
3, 2.
All right, Bob got it.
Aw. Y'all got 2. I hadn't even got 1. All of you. We're gonna auction 2 baskets.
Are we?
Yeah,
Okay.
we'll do that.
715-3223. 3223.
Oh, Abby. I'm gonna win those. If Carol just call my number one time, I'm gonna win those onions.
Okay. 715-3174.
Yeah.
Go grab you something. Go back there and get some at the table. Go pick what you want.
Can I grab those onions?
No, not the onions. We're gonna raffle those things. I'm gonna have to find those. Sherry, wait, hold on. Sherry, what you gonna do with the t-shirt?
Abby's got it.
Sherry, what you gonna do with the Ari Mimi or the T?
Too many letters.
What size is it?
We got a large and an extra large.
Okay, let's do the t-shirts. Want to? Let's go t-shirts.
All right. 715-3153.
No, that's me. I don't want a t-shirt. I want those onions.
Fine.
I'll give you a t-shirt. I'll give them a t-shirt. Okay.
All right, ready?
Yes.
I'm gonna dig over here. Way down. Oh, that's one.
We got this.
715-3128.
That's me.
Okay. You want a t-shirt? Sure. Yes, that's large, extra large.
Large, please.
Okay,
Thank you.
welcome. And there is slightly misspelled, remember, but you know, running horse, somebody's gonna know.
R-E-M-E-M.
Already been me or
E-M-E-V-E-R. Remember. Ready?
Yep.
715-3163. 3163. Okay, Christy's got it. You got it. You put it in your pocket. Okay, got anything else?
Yep.
All right.
Bonus win some. Who had one each? And whose number's not been drawn?
A lot of it. It's a whole-
Bone, Letty, who?
Okay.
Bone and Letty. Then let them, we have 2, we have a t-shirt left, and we have, cowtails left.
All right. You don't want me to call out a number? I'll call out. 715-3243. 3243.
Give me yours, Lee. She can't find your ticket. Memorized.
Lady has it.
Lady got it.
Okay, Letty girl, come on back here.
And we're undressing the mannequins.
Alright,
Okay,
this is
is
up for
auction.
auction. First we went for 10.
Auction.
This is for Donna, from Donna.
What's in it?
Oh my God, Donna, what all?
Too much good stuff.
Well, there's, I think biscuit mix and syrup and I forget what all
Chicken
is.
thing, got flour. I'll start, y'all. I'll bid 25.
Okay,
Bid
so
for one. I'll
25.
start, 25 is the bid.
25.
It's worth it, it is worth it.
I hear 30. I hear 30.
Anybody?
30. 26.
No, I'm doing 6, I'm on it.
Oh, 20, 35.
Anybody want more for 25? I got one more basket to auction off. Anybody want it?
25 going once.
Going twice?
Up. 30. 30. We got 30 over here. 30 over here.
35.
Got 30. 35. All right. 35.
It's all for a good cause. It goes to the
35.
exhibit.
Anything?
Tax deductible.
More than 35.
Tax deductible.
More than 35. All right. 35. 35. Going once, going twice, 35.
Thank you, I'll pay for it gladly. We got one more.
Collect Sheila's
Look
check.
in this one, there's some other stuff in there too.
Chicken
Oh,
cup,
that was cute.
Mhm.
I love them all.
Steak sauce.
steak
Okay.
sauce,
Vegas steak sauce.
Vegas steak sauce.
Okay, just got my first bid. Got the first bid. What do I hear? I hear $10. It's $10, $20, 20, 20, going up. 25, 25.
Worth 25, please.
That basket back
Oh, she needs to point back to the person.
there. I'm guessing.
She got
We take checks, you're good, we take a check, yeah, heck yeah.
Take checks, Venmo.
30.
Got 30 going here, 30, 35. 35.
Go girls, good call.
Do I hear 40? Do I hear 36? 35? 35? 35? 45? 40.
Young lady. Thank you, thank
40 here. Here's 45.
Oh, she acting so innocent, I love her.
You get 45? What'd you say? 45?
Oh!
45 over here.
Come on, lady, you can do it.
45.
Go lady, go lady.
50, anybody? 45, 50?
Come on, good cause, it's the
45.
exhibit.
Carolyn, I think she should get.
Okay, 45. Going once? Going twice? Carolyn gets it?
Yay! And I wanna get a picture of all the people, all of your stuff, okay? I wanna get a picture, thank you, Donna, and thank you for these lovely baskets. Thank you for your donation to our exhibit. We appreciate you, we truly do. I wanna get a picture of everyone before we leave, so those of you over here, try to come over here. I believe we can fit most of you. I wanna get a picture
I
of one
want to
picture.
do away with your tickets for trash and put them in there with the others.
Thanks, Dave.
You don't have to, I just thought if you had them in your hand. If you want it.